Ladies and gentlemen, America is today witnessing an unprecedented earthquake in modern history. A powerful and cold undercurrent is sweeping through every airport, every neighborhood, every roof that once seemed peaceful. The Trump administration, in the first months of his second term, has launched a campaign of mass deportations of immigrants with a speed that has stunned even veteran experts. Within hours, deportation notices were sent out, flights were grounded, and buses discreetly left suburban neighborhoods carrying thousands of confused, weeping people. Across major cities, from Los Angeles to Houston to New York, the familiar image of immigrant America is falling apart. People hug each other hastily to say goodbye, bewildered children cling to their parents, airport loudspeakers coldly repeat canceled flights, mixed with the urgent calls of people trying to escape. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, all of this is happening faster than finding a parking spot in New York during rush hour, a task that is already nearly impossible. In the midst of that chaotic storm, the image of President Trump with a satisfied smile holding up a new executive order with a giant signature has become a symbol of an America entering an era of zero-tolerance deportation. A smug wink, a scratch of pen on paper, and millions of fates are erased in an instant. From his first day back in the White House in January 2025, President Donald Trump wasted no time. Amid thunderous applause and flashbulbs, he announced a grand goal: to return America to its true identity, a manifesto that translated into reality through a massive deportation campaign targeting millions of immigrants. Not only targeting recent illegal immigrants, this plan, with the coldest name, Operation Endgame 2.0, also reached out to those who have lived, worked, and contributed to the U.S. for decades. No matter how long you have been here, whether you paid taxes, raised a family, or even served on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, now if you lack a complete piece of paper, you are subject to removal. According to the latest figures, up to 11 million people are in the sights of this campaign, a huge number spread across all 50 states, infiltrating every neighborhood, every construction site, every factory, and every little dream that is still unfinished. To carry out the campaign with unprecedented speed and scale, the Trump administration has doubled the number of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, and set up mobile immigration courts. Hearings are taking place in stadiums' parking lots and even hastily converted shipping containers. The pace of work is so fast that, according to one anonymous official, in a day, it can sign more deportation orders than it does on a Black Friday. And it doesn't stop there. In an effort to be both visually stunning and fast, sources say ICE has also turned the traditional yellow school buses that once transported children to school into repatriation buses. These buses have been roughly repainted with the ICE logo and the humorous yet poignant caption, "One-way tickets, no return trips." A scene that is both comical and poignant, as buses that were supposed to carry children's dreams are now trundling away, carrying broken families and dreams that have yet to blossom. What's even more outrageous is the cruelty of the selection criteria. It's not just new illegal immigrants who are targeted. Those with pending cases, young DACA students, the dreamers who were promised a brighter future, and even essential workers who risked their lives during the COVID-19 pandemic to keep America running were all caught up in this indiscriminate sweep. There was no room for humanity. There was no room for flexibility. In this campaign, every rule was simplified into a cold message. Either you have the right papers or you have to go. Millions of people are no longer just numbers on paper. They have names, families, dreams that they have built every day, and now they are witnessing their lives being mercilessly stripped away. In Los Angeles, 9-year-old Isabella had to say goodbye to her father, a man who drove a delivery truck every day during the pandemic, risking his life to support his family. Her father was arrested right in front of the school gate, in front of the stunned eyes of many children and the heartbreaking cries of his daughter. In Texas, Manuel, a farmer who had plowed the white cotton fields for more than 20 years, was suddenly dragged away while watering his fields. The 58-year-old man, who had never been convicted of any crime other than working hard, was now put straight on a yellow bus, without even saying goodbye to his seriously ill wife who was waiting at home. In New York, thousands of DACA students like Maria, dreamers who once welcomed into America with the promise of a future, now feels anxious every time she hears a knock on the door. Maria, a medical graduate with excellent grades, dreamed of becoming a doctor to serve minority communities. But now she faces deportation to a country she doesn't even remember. Stories like these are all over the news, tearful tweets on social media, spontaneous protests erupting in town squares, airports, and city halls. Americans who pride themselves on being a nation of immigrants are tearing their own hearts out. What's more painful is the chaos and lack of transparency in the deportation process. In some cases, just a small mistake in paperwork, a wrong turn at the airport, or even a random street check is enough to drag entire families into a spiral of no return. There is no time to explain, no lawyers to come, no courts patient enough to listen. Human rights organizations sound the alarm. Churches stay open all night to shelter immigrants. Many cities declare themselves as sanctuary cities, but the pressure from the federal government is heavier than ever. And amid that wave, America wonders, are we losing not just immigrants, but our very souls, in the whirlwind of Operation Endgame 2.0? But America has never been silent. Just weeks after Operation Endgame 2.0 began, a wave of protests erupted from all legal and political fronts. Civil rights organizations such as the ACLU, NAACP, and United We Dream filed a lawsuit in federal court, accusing the Trump administration of violating the Constitution and international human rights regulations. States with large immigrant populations, such as California, New York, and Illinois, have not sat still. Governor Gavin Newsom bluntly declared on national television, "California will not be an accomplice to this systematic cruelty. If the president wants to arrest people, he will have to go through us first." A statement that was both strong and made the whole audience applaud like thunder. Major cities such as Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco also loudly issued sanctuary city decrees, refusing to cooperate with ICE, limiting the sharing of immigrant resident information with the federal government. To the point, some mayors even humorously hung a sign outside the city hall. "We apologize. ICE is not allowed in without pizza." Meanwhile, local courts are swamped with class action lawsuits. Volunteer lawyers cram into makeshift courtrooms set up in stadiums. The chaos is so bad that some judges are having to conduct hearings via Zoom, while internet connections are as choppy as an 80s TV antenna signal. The political confrontation has also flared up in the U.S. Congress. Democrats are pushing bills to protect vulnerable groups, while Republicans, backed by Trump, are trying to block funding for resisting cities. The debates last all night, with sharp words, fiery criticism, and inevitably American-style reality show-style verbal battles, where each side tries to defend their arguments and gain TV views. In that maelstrom, a big question echoed in the heart of America. Where will this country go when every inch of land, every street corner is becoming a battlefield between two opposing versions of itself? As America is shaken by a wave of deportations and endless legal battles, the biggest question still hangs in the balance. What will America's future look like? The picture before us is not just of forced evictions, crowded airports, or yellow school buses taking immigrants back to places they no longer call home. It is also a deeply polarized society where faith in justice, humanity, and the ideal of freedom for all is being tested to the core. That division seeps from the parliament to the family dinner table, from the classroom to the stadium. People are fiercely debating not only about immigration policy, but also about America's very identity. Is it a land of opportunity that opens its arms, or a closed fortress that only accepts those who deserve it? In reality, the consequences of the deportation campaign are not simply about sending who where. Businesses are short of workers. Hospitals are short of nurses. Farms no longer have enough people to harvest crops. Once vibrant communities are deserted, as quiet as a forgotten train station. And in the midst of this, voices of resistance persist, from activists to university professors to ordinary citizens. All of them raise the same burning question. Can a nation built by immigrants survive if it turns its back on those very values? A nation that once proudly declared to the world, "Give me your tired, your poor, your dreams of freedom," now hangs a sign that reads, "Sorry, no seats available, please turn around." At the end of this tunnel, America stands at a historic crossroads. On one side is fear, division, and retreat. On the other is hope, unity, and a reassertion of its original ideals. And the choice, as always, lies with every American citizen. The ultimate question is not who will be deported. It is, will America deport its own future, or will it find a way to save it? And the answer, ladies and gentlemen, will come sooner than waiting for a red light in downtown Los Angeles. If you think what's happening isn't just news, but the story of America's future, subscribe to our channel to continue watching, analyzing, and speaking out. Don't forget to share this video so more people understand what's happening today will determine what kind of America we live in tomorrow. And hey, click the little bell next to it so you don't miss any important stories, even if the world turns upside down faster than a new iOS update.